Hello and welcome to the BusinessWings podcast. My name's Adam Bannister and today I'm talking to management expert Bruce Scott about what the new coalition cabinet can learn from the boardroom. In part 2 of the podcast, Bruce tells BusinessWings that a sense of crisis helps create an unlikely coalition and that when making decisions, getting the balance right between acting decisively and listening to a range of views is vital. So how important do you think it is for members of the same team to socialise together or have forums for sharing their ideas and challenging each other?
There's no doubt that there is a long history of animosity between the Liberals and the Conservatives. They're not the same. They come from different angles. I mean, the Liberal Democrats are a left-wing party and the Tory is a right-wing party, but they both have centre ground. And I think Cameron has got the right idea where he's got a fixed 5-year term. He wants 5 years to sort a real mess out, which is only partly the previous government's making, but it certainly wasn't helped by the previous government. If we're going to do that, then the individuals you and I are both talking about at the moment are going to have to put country before party. Now, the Tories and the Liberals are going to have to get their act together, and this will be a measure of the very strong personalities of both David Cameron and Nick Clegg, as long as these two can stay united. And I think they're going to be tested on so many issues. If you ask me, honestly, what did I want to see? I wanted to see one party with an absolute majority. I didn't want a hung parliament. But now we've got a hung parliament. Let's see if we can make this hung parliament the best parliament we've had for the last 30, 40 years, because it's got the biggest challenge that anybody's ever had. I mean, when the Labour Party took over from the Tories, they took over the best set of books that any chancellor handed on, and everybody accepts that. This party has taken over the worst set of books. And this is the test. They're going to have to do some awfully unpopular things to you and me. And we've got to say to ourselves, well, look, if we're 170 billion in debt as a country, the sooner we get ourselves out of that situation, back onto an even keel, the better. If it's going to be painful for my money, and I mean my money, I would rather have the pain quicker rather than a very slow, lingering pain that goes on year after year after year.
If this coalition had been formed in more benign economic times, I think it would have fallen apart a lot earlier. But I think everyone's aware that it's crisis time and therefore people are willing to bite their lip a bit more and work together.
I agree with you, Adam, entirely. I don't think in more benign times it would have happened at all. I think you needed this big catalyst of what do we do next? It's a real big problem we've got, and nobody should be under any illusions. We are bust as a country and as a company. So it was that was the catalyst for change, and it's that's the catalyst that should make these two parties get their heads together and sink differences. There's more actually that unites British people, and I'm a great believer in this. It doesn't matter what your vote is. If you're an extreme socialist or an extreme Tory, there is a whole range of values that you'll sign up to. But there's other things that you'll find yourself totally opposed on. And when you're in business and you find you're totally opposed to some of your colleagues, you've got two things you can do. One is you can hold your line and fight it and lose and have to leave. Or you can think your differences, make it work, and then when better times come, then fight your corner. That's the test. Can they sink the differences in the interests of Great Britain Limited? If they can, I think it could be great. I'm an optimist. I believe it can happen. It will very much depend on the leadership qualities of the two gentlemen at the top.
How difficult is it to sort of act decisively and collegiately?
I think it does come back to the previous answer about sinking differences and uniting on common interests. Having said that, one should never be afraid to listen to somebody outside the group. And when we are assessing a management team before a big investment is put to them, we would give them points if that was a team of people that listen to outside advice. People who act internally and unilaterally themselves are not usually in management as successful as those that listen to others, evaluate opinions, and then come to a decision and drive forward. The big trick is at the end, listen to people, but don't listen for too long. Make a decision, because leadership's about giving direction.